Hi, I'm Paulina Wright, and this CD is going to help you manage your stress. In a moment, you can relax and let go, and begin to enjoy the huge psychological and physical benefits of deep rest. Before that, just a few quick words about stress. The first step in the stress process is called a stressor, and it can be something real, such as a final tax demand or a mugger, or it can be something imagined, such as a worry about the future, or trying to second-guess what someone thinks of you. It makes no practical difference whether the stressor is real or imagined, because your fear instincts respond to imagined threats just as if they were real. The first result of stress is the production of adrenaline. Adrenaline gears the body for action by increasing the heart rate and the production of sweat. It also reduces digestion, the sex drive, and the immune system, preparing the body for emergency. Logical thinking becomes harder as the primitive parts of the brain take over in order to reduce reaction time in dealing with any danger. After a couple of minutes, the stress hormone cortisol is produced. Now, prolonged high levels of cortisol can make you physically ill, causing stomach problems, impaired immune function, and the inability to think rationally. So, what was initially an adaptive or useful response now becomes maladaptive. You don't need to be eating a hamburger whilst running away from a lion, because eating is a long-term survival, and running is the more important short-term survival option. Switching off digestion in a short-term emergency is great, but if it remains this way for long periods of time, then physical problems can result. The best way to deal with the physical effects of stress is to allow yourself to relax, so that your body can begin to repair itself. As you practice relaxation on a regular basis, you will notice how you can begin to see things more clearly and have a calmer approach to life generally. You will also notice that your sleep will improve, making you feel fresher during the day and more rested at night. Your immune function will be more effective, and you will find it easier to think clearly and remember facts. To help with general levels of well-being, it's a good idea to reduce the intake of stimulants such as coffee, to eat well, and to do an appropriate level of regular exercise. As well as balancing these factors, you need to develop the mental skills which allow you to feel calmer and more in control when you most need to. So that's what this session is all about, helping you to relax now so that you are able to let go completely of stress and to begin to approach life in a calmer and more appropriate way. To begin, just think about where in your body you would most like to feel completely calm when you need to. Maybe deep in the stomach, or in the back of the neck, or somewhere else. Now, just focus on what it might feel like to feel a little bit of those sensations right now. move yourself into a comfortable position where you can rest uninterrupted for a few minutes in the way that allows you to unwind. And after you take a deep breath in, just allow those eyes to gently close as you let that breath drift completely out, and you can deliberately move your attention around your body, perhaps to a foot or a leg, and just checking that a hand or an arm feels nice and restful in that position. And once that body feels happy, to begin to rest a little more, allow your mind to gradually let go of any worries and begin to slow right down. Now, there are times when you can feel in control and relax to just the right degree, doing something that you enjoy, such as a sport, perhaps just simply soaking in a warm bath, just so that you can allow yourself to let your whole body feel light and comfortable, or heavy and relaxed. And any tension can just gently unwind itself, and each muscle begin to feel soothed and massaged. And with that comes clarity of mind, which allows you to naturally let the thoughts of the day just fade away. And as you move your awareness around that body, you might like to encourage feelings of calmness. They can spread up and down or around every muscle. That's it. Sometimes slow and gentle, at times more quickly moving to relax you. Now, you may have noticed how some people deal with certain situations better than others. And when we look at those who manage their lives well, we notice that they are able to take a step back from each situation to have a calmer and more realistic outlook, perspective. And when caught up in an unhelpful emotion, like the anxiety that stress produces, it's important to remember how things really are. It's important just to remember that when you are less than calm, things appear different. And by allowing yourself these moments to relax that body even more and get more distant in those situations, you can begin to open the mind to new possibilities. And in turn, by managing those situations more effectively, you will find you gain strength of mind to take control immediately and deal with each new situation appropriately. So the first thing you can start to do is just imagine yourself nicely relaxed at different times during the day. Those could be times alone, or when you are with other people, perhaps with work or with family. Perhaps it's when you are busy. or when there is much happening, just noticing when you relax, you can think much more clearly. And during the day you can feel light as the sun moves ahead and the day progresses. By getting that distance, that calmness, that relaxation, by keeping your head when all around you are losing theirs, that's how you can understand at a very deep level that very little requires a high stress response from you. You can let stress slip by you, like water runs off a duck's back. That's it. Like you are waterproof to stress. And you can think back to times when you were less than comfortable or less than relaxed, and just remember that after a while things always begin to calm back down again. And when you are calm, afterwards you can look back and wonder why it was you needed to get so worked up. And you can know deep down, the calmer you are, the more effective you can be, the clearer you can see. Because there is a time before an event when everything is just fine, and a time afterwards when everything just calms back down. And all you need to do is just join these two up in the middle, so you can remain calm all the way through, and allowing yourself to step back from the situation with the sense of calm clarity helps you figure out the best way forward. And many times you have experienced feeling overwhelmed or angry about something, only to return to it later and wonder what all the fuss was about. That's the power of perspective. Just a little more calmness, allowing your brain to operate in a different way, giving yourself the resources to be relaxed about problem solving, and so much more effective. I remember a friend of mine told me once how he was walking to an exam on a sunny day down a street in his town, feeling very stressed on his way to college to sit his test. And at that very moment, he decided to use his imagination to give himself a little perspective, to help himself relax. And as he walked down the street, he imagined floating out of himself so that he could see himself below. And you can imagine what it is like floating out of yourself. And he saw himself walk along the street, and he went higher and higher in his imagination until he could see himself in the context of the town he was in. One tiny person way down there, and then higher still, until he could imagine himself in this town, in this country, and higher still until all he could see was his tiny country from outer space. And he said that from up there, his Problems seemed very, very insignificant indeed. And that's the power of perspective. You have a lifetime of experiences before you, and many more before that. And as you draw upon these, you will be surprised how it enables you to be calm throughout that body and mind. And as you experience that in those situations, you will notice how things improve, perhaps imperceptibly at first, or with great leaps and bounds, a wonderful surprise, reminding you just how effective you can be. And when you notice yourself in the future, in situations which may before have made you less than calm, just notice how you look in those situations with this newfound detachment and perspective. Just notice how different you look to those around you, those who are allowing stress to seep in, and you, with your newfound knowledge and abilities, you are staying calm and sailing through the very eye of the storm, relaxed and in control. That's it. Just keeping in mind things that perhaps you have to do in the coming days or weeks or months. Just noticing how it feels to observe yourself in that situation, looking so relaxed and in control. And when you notice that, you can just drift into that you over there, and that imagination there, and experience how it feels to have that greater perspective, to have that control. And that vision can return to you anytime you relax. Maybe as you drift off to sleep at night, or when you are lying relaxing in the bath, perhaps when you are taking exercise, or just walking down the road. But for now, you can just become a little bit more aware of how your body feels, just taking a few seconds to become more aware of the sensations in the hands or the feet, and letting a little sense of movement and energy gradually return to that body and to the mind. Perhaps those eyelids beginning to feel a little bit lighter, to feel like opening in a moment or two, just reorienting yourself to the room, noticing those sounds around you a little more, and opening those eyes and coming back to the room.